Hello and welcome to Gaming Access Best. If you like these sort of videos, please give us a like and subscribe and comment your favourite N64 game down in the comments below. Anyway, today we're going to talk about GoldenEye. Now, GoldenEye is a fan favourite, and I can see why, but I'm not the sort of guy that will just suck a dick because, it's popular. So I'm not going to do it. But what I will tell you is that it's not one of my favourite games. I'm not going to lie to you and say, I remember playing this as a child and it was one of my favourite games, and because it wasn't back then either. Now, coming of more of an adult age, and where most retro gamers like myself are adults, and we have a bit of free time, a bit of liquid cash, and so we want to buy some old games. Now, GoldenEye wasn't the first-person shooter out on the Nintendo 64, and it wasn't the first 3D shooter out on the N64 either. Turok predates it by 4 months. I know it's not a long time, but they probably worked off each other by seeing each other's come up in magazines and, the like. So it wasn't the first game to show that first-person shooters were viable on console. So that's I just want to say that for a start. It's a bit of a myth, but what it was, the first console, was to do 4-player multiplayer, and that was what made it more popular. Now, if you're looking at getting an N64, I would definitely say get one. If you're looking at getting GoldenEye, look at why you're getting it first. Now, if you're getting it because you've been told it's a great game and very people have had hours of fun with it, you need to know that what they're talking about is this multiplayer, because the single player isn't that great. Graphically, it still looks great. It's a fine looking game for its time. I mean, yeah, some of the face models still look like they walked into a wall and just carried on walking with their face, but it still looks pretty good. And I do try not to use emulation in my videos, so again, this is a video which is straight from the console, hence the fuzzy CRT RF cable look. Yeah, I need a new capture card for this. Anyway, and yeah, the story's James Bond. It's about as James Bond as you can make it. It was Pierce Brosnan's first outing as the titular character, and I mean, it was what you expect. It's a spy game, just made into a first-person shooter, and it did inspire a lot. Now, and I've got to say, the controls are pretty tight. I can't say anything bad about the controls, except the aiming can be a bit finicky. You're not used to that sort of thing, especially in these modern days where, you just aim down the sides and you can carry on charging ahead and shooting everything. It's not like that at all. Anyway, so yeah, the controls are pretty tight, and the auto aim is pretty good too. I mean, it's quite liberal, and it pretty much targets the closest enemy, so you won't have much trouble. And being a 90s game, it is quite difficult. As always, I put this on easy mode for you guys so you can see what it looks like and how it plays, which I shouldn't have done, to be honest with you. I should have done it on hard mode. I should have done it on secret. Reason being, you start seeing the problems, and the first problem you'll notice is the frame rate drop. Yeah, my older videos had bad frame rate, but I fixed that, hopefully, I think, by changing my capture software. And yeah, the frame rate drops down to single digits, and at times, I even remember as a child, I used to think this was broken. I mean, especially in the later levels, when you've got loads of enemies on the screen at the same time. Yeah, the N64 was going to struggle at that, and the frame rate just dropped to single digits, and it looked broken. It looked horrid. Even back then, I can remember it being this horrible looking game. The second problem is this game mechanic, which I can't seem to understand, is that when you get shot, you get pushed back a bit, it stun locks you for about half a second, and it's annoying. It is I don't even know. I mean, I can understand being hit and just having your gun, shoot up slightly or lose your accuracy, but this was like an actual stun lock. and it is really one of the most annoying things ever. And it can push you back quite. Like I said, you can have lots of enemies on the screen at once, and if they're all shooting at you, you can be pushed back quite a bit, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it adds this just annoyance to a whole thing, and it makes me hard to recommend it over so many better first-person shooters on the N64, even ones that are considered worse, like South Park. Yeah, you just mute the sound of South Park, you actually get a decent and fun game. But then again, I'm just a huge South Park fanboy, so you can take that for what you wish. Anyway, the reason people like it, and that is the multiplayer, and I've got to admit, it's still a lot of fun in multiplayer. You have less of the issues than you do in, you only have 4 people on screen at once for a start, and you can do an amount of selections you have in multiplayer, like slappers only. You can choose your weapons. You've got the massive amount of characters. I always played as Famke Jensen or Xenia Onatop. I remember my brother used to always play as James Bond, and my cousin used to play Oddjob for a bit until I punched him in the leg because Oddjob is cheating. I actually have a shirt with actually on. I have a bowler hat and it says cheat underneath, back for GoldenEye Legends. Anyway, so that's what it did. It brought so much to the multiplayer side of gaming, and that's what makes it such an important part of gaming history. Now, I know it's a touchy subject, but I would say, honestly, if you want to play with single player, just get an emulator for it, because it fixes like the frame rate drops, it makes the screen look better. Just keep it. Just if you're going to get it for multiplayer. And Control, it's not that expensive. It's not an expensive game. I got mine for like £6, and I'm really bad because I just like the cartridges. I do have a box copy of Duke Nukem 64, but I put the box away and the cartridge is just there with the collection. And just get it for multiplayer. Just have it to play with your multiplayer. If you really want the last 2 levels, just play it through as much as you can. And the levels, as this is another thing. Multiplayer levels will unlock when you play through them on the main campaign, which is pretty cool actually. I like that idea, that you can actually unlock levels as you play. So it gives you incentive to play the single player to unlock more multiplayer levels. And then you have like the par times, which I think comes from Doom. But rather than just saying, yeah, you beat this in a certain time, you actually get something for it. I mean, like, almost everyone will have is Big Head mode, or DK mode as it's called, where you literally got to beat Runway in less than 5 minutes on easy. And if you can't beat it, you can beat it in less than a minute on easy. It's such a simple level to complete. And also, there's also the other things. There's lots of variation. Like there's missions where you actually get to jump in a tank, which is a great fun, including reenactment of going through that the city streets in a tank, like it was in the movie, and that's just a lot of fun. I mean, when I started playing this again, I wanted to go into this because I kind of don't like overhyped games, and GoldenEye does get overhyped a lot by its fans, and it's just not right when there are better first-person shooters. But I remembered why it was so much fun. It was just a game where you can pick up and play for about 10 to 20 minutes, blast through a couple of levels, put it back down. When the problems started getting annoying, you could pick up something else. But it was just that ease of wanting to pick it up a little bit, play it a little bit, and put it back down. Because the missions were pretty short, to be honest with you. And it just made it a bit more fun. I mean, yeah, I didn't play it first. It wasn't the first game I'd always pick up when I would pick up my N64 controller as a kid. But it wasn't the sort of game that I would always play first. I preferred more cartoony, silly games. I'm a big fan of Buck Bumble, big fan of South Park. And at the time I loved dinosaurs because Jurassic Park was pretty new at the time. So Turok 2 was a big game I'd play a lot. And GoldenEye would always be this game I'd play with friends and family. When I'd go to a mate, we'd all take our controller and we'd I'd bring GoldenEye or they'd have GoldenEye and we'd just blast and play on that for a bit. And I think that's where the basis of the enjoyment of GoldenEye comes from. So if you're going to collect, I would definitely say get it if you're going to collect the N64. And I would say play it, but if you're going to play it for multiplayer. Don't go mad with the single player. We have been so spoiled with what games can do now. These bugs, I think, are more highlighted, and you kind of notice them more nowadays than you would then. And this is why games like Doom and Duke Nukem and Blood have made this resurgence, because that sprite and the build engine just didn't age badly, and it didn't take up a lot of memory back then. Even though my Duke Nukem CD64 cartridge is quite heavy. Just saying, it's quite a heavy cartridge. Anyway, I mean, yeah, get it. It's pretty cheap. You can get it anywhere. Be careful on eBay though, because I've noticed people are hiking up prices at the moment. So be careful. If you really want to get a box copy, honestly, just try and get a repro box. People are doing them pretty good if it's just for the look you want. Or just get the cartridge. These things are robust as you can make them. And they can take a hell of a beating, and they still work fine now. And most games didn't even require a battery, you had the memory cards. So, honestly, yeah, get it, but just be prepared that there are some glaring issues in the game nowadays. So, I'm really glad you stopped by and watched this. Thank you very much, take care of yourself, have a good day, and please like, subscribe, leave a comment underneath what games you enjoyed, what games you didn't. What would you like to see me review next? And have a great day.